Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Root Beer here with the penultimate question on the 2012 Manitoba Math Contest. We're at question 9, as I say, and let's take a look here. Let A be the point 4,9 and B the point 10,5. A very small insect starts at A, crawls to a point C on the x-axis, and then crawls to the point B. If he took the shortest possible path to do this, find the distance traveled and coordinates of the point C. Okay. So let's draw a picture of this situation here. So we have 4,9. Let's say that's here. And we have 10,5, so let's say that's here. So this guy, he walks to some point C, and then to B. Right? And that's it. Crawls to C on the x-axis, then point B, took the shortest path possible, find the distance and coordinates of the distance traveled and the coordinates of the point C. Okay. So first let's add these in. 4, 9, and it's 10,5, isn't it? 10,5. Yeah. Okay. So this question's actually it's a question that's been around for a while. It really has. And so if you know that, you can sort of instantly see what you're supposed to do. But if you didn't know that, you're going to learn something, because there's a nice, quick, easy trick to this sort of thing. So what you might try and do if you didn't know what exactly to do, you might start guessing point C, and you could probably fiddle around. I'm guessing, I don't actually know the answer off the top of my head, but I'm guessing probably integer values for C might work. So you might try something like halfway between, so say 7, 0 for your point C, something like that. You might try that. You might try and get some right angle triangles, some similar triangles going on or something. Other things you might try and do, there is a formula for distance between points, and you might try to in some way minimize. So you get a formula for AC. Call C the point x0, for example. You can get the distance between A and C, get the distance between B and C, and that would all become one giant formula in terms of x, and you might try to minimize that if you knew some calculus. Now, you don't have to know calculus to do this, but these are ways that some people might approach this question if they were unfamiliar with it. Okay, I have at least 2 books that have this type of question in it. Just fun little sort of pop math books. The only one whose name I can remember is Mathematical Mosaic by Ravivac Keel. That definitely has this in it. And it's a great one. I'm going to show you what to do, but we do need to justify where we're coming from, and so you might learn something in my justification. Because remember, Manitoba contest, we can't just say, here's the answer, this is the point C, this is the distance traveled. But we got to justify it, so we're going to do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to sort of treat this like light in a mirror. That's sort of how I think of it. Is light always takes the shortest distance possible. We're going to treat the x-axis like a mirror. A, the starting point, we're looking into the mirror and we're seeing the reflection of that point B that's over there. And so what way does light travel? Well, when light hits a mirror, the angle of incidence is the same on both sides, and we're going to actually show why that is. So you can learn some physicsy things here now, too. Okay. So, the long and short of the answer, like the answer to all the questions like this is also... you've got a barn over here that's on fire, and you got a farmer who needs to fetch water at a river and get to the barn, so he has to make a detour. What path does he do? Shortest. What we want to do is we're going to reflect B in the x-axis to a brand new point. We'll call him B prime. He'll be down here. We'll give him yellow. Okay. So C will be the point of intersection between the x-axis and the line A, B prime. Okay. So that's the idea. That's where the answer will lie. Now, why does this work? Because we have to justify this. Why does this work? Okay. So imagine you had another point C. So we'll make a note first. Because you don't, on these contests, with a written question contest, you don't have to show why you thought that something is the answer. All you have to do is show that it is the answer. You have to prove that it is the answer. You don't have to explain why did you think to reflect this. No one cares. Well, I'm sure some people care. You probably care, first of all. But no one who's marking will give you marks for that. So in that sense, no one cares. First, we'll show why this C gives the shortest answer, or gives the shortest distance. Okay, so let's say imagine we had another point C prime. So we have our A, we have our, so I want my B prime in here. We'll keep B here. So imagine we had another point C prime, maybe it's over here. And here's our actual C. That gave a shorter overall distance. All right. Let A be the distance from A to C prime, and little b be the distance from C prime to B. So since C prime is on the axis of reflection, the x-axis, B is also the same as B prime, C prime. So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to draw this picture again, but on the next page, and we're going to have B prime included. So here's A, here's our B. B prime is sort of the same distance down here, and what did we use? We used purple, didn't we? So this gives us our C, and then we had, no, yellow was for the other one. Let's use the green. So we have our C prime here. So we have A and we have distance B, but the distance from C prime to B prime is also going to be B. And we'll label some things. A, B, there's C, here's B prime. So notice that A, B prime, C prime is a triangle. Now there's a nice property called the triangle law. Two sides of the triangle need to add up to more than the other side of the triangle, otherwise they wouldn't be able to meet and touch. So this is called the triangle inequality. So by the triangle inequality, A plus B is greater than AC plus CB prime, which is greater than AC plus CB, because again, C is on the axis of reflection, so it's going to be the same distance there. So that's AC prime plus C prime B. And that means we have a greater distance traveled. Okay, so C prime couldn't give us a shorter distance. Now, as an aside, if you were to just say, okay, here's your A, here's your B, here's some C, and here's C prime, drawing the picture like this, it is not obvious that these two are bigger than the sum of these two. But when you do it with this triangle, suddenly everything becomes so much clearer. The reflection makes it all so obvious. You get a triangle. By the triangle inequality, this one must give a shorter distance than this C prime, this other one. Okay? But we've justified it. Okay? We did a reflection. We explained why CB and CB prime and C prime B and C prime B prime are going to be the same lengths. And then we said, well, it's a triangle. We've got a triangle. It's sitting there clear as day. That's the point of C. C is on AB. It's part of the line. So that gives us a triangle there, and that the triangle inequality allows it all to follow. So we've justified where this C comes from. And now if you ever see this question again in the future, this sort of thing, you will know. And you'll also know, why does this work? Because you make a triangle. So now all that's left to do is figure out, okay, what is B prime? And from there, can we work out the distance A to B prime, because that's going to be the total distance traveled, the shortest possible route. And then we can also work out the intersection. If we figure out the line, we can work out the intersection there for point C. Okay, so that's what we got left to do. We justified everything. Now let's work it out. Thus, C does minimize the route traveled. Okay. The total distance is just going to be the length of AB prime. So B prime is at, well, it's the same distance out. It's 10, but now it's minus 5. Okay, because it's a reflection, and you could state that again, but we already said B prime is the reflection on the x-axis, so don't worry about it. Now, A, B prime, if we wanted that, we could use the distance formula. Or we could, drop a right angle triangle and do Pythagoras. I mean, that's all the distance formula really is. So it's the difference in the x-coordinates squared plus the difference in the y-coordinates squared. So that's going to be square root of negative 6 squared, so 36, plus 14 squared, so that's 196. I'm not liking the numbers, but okay. 36 plus 196, not using my calculator. I'm going to have to go over here. 2, carry the 1, so that'll be 3, carry the 1. So 232. Not satisfied with that. Did I copy a number wrong somewhere? No, I guess I didn't. It was very odd. And AB prime is given by the line, what line here? We'll do this on the next page because I don't think I can fit it all in. I got to do rise over run, and then we have a point, so we can use point slope formula line. So using point slope form, the slope of AB prime is rise, so the difference in the y's, over run. That'll be 14 over negative 6, or negative 7 over 3. So y minus 9 is negative 7 over 3 x minus 4. Okay, with point slope formula line, we just need to know one of the points, and we need to know the slope. Alright, so C is on AB prime with y coordinate 0. So negative 9 is negative 7 over 3 x minus 4. Multiply the 3, we get negative 27 is negative 7x minus 4. Divide by negative 7. And add on 4, so that'd be 27 plus 28 all over 7 is equal to x. And that is 55. So x is 55 over 7. Thus C has coordinates 55 over 7, 0. And the distance that the little insect traveled is square root of 232. Okay, and that's all we were asked for, correct? We took the shortest path, find this distance traveled and the coordinates of the point C. There we go. That's all it is. Yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot else to comment. I didn't really like this question just because I get the feeling that if you didn't already know that trick, then the sort of the reflection, and that's what gives you the shortest distance, that you would have been at a terrible disadvantage. And I'm never a fan of a math question that requires you to know a trick. Okay. That said, maybe those of you out there who tried this question were able to work out exactly where C should be by some other means, or maybe that trick is kind of obvious. But I consider it a little bit of a trick that, you see it bounces off sort of the farmer goes to the river, gets the water, and puts it out of the barn. That's got to be the reflection, the light, the mirror thing. So obviously we do this, this, and this. And I feel like having read about that, having seen that type of question before, gives me an advantage, and I don't think that's right. And I also get the sense that if you hadn't seen that type of question before, you would have been at a horrible disadvantage. And I don't think that's good contest creation. But I'll let you guys decide that for yourself. Overall, I've been enjoying this particular one, so I'm willing to excuse that 9 and move forward looking at 10. So we're going to take a look at question 10 in the next video. Thanks for watching, and more of the 2012 paper coming right up.